Welcome to the saxophone family. We start with this because it gives you an idea of the four saxophones that are mainly used. From left to right we have the baritone, then the tenor, the alto, and finally the soprano. For this introduction to the saxophone and how it works, we will use the alto for our demonstration. The alto is the instrument used by most people who are starting to learn the sax, because it's not too big and not too heavy, and this makes it an ideal choice for children. The price is also very affordable. So now let's take a look at the various pieces of the saxophone and how it is put together. We begin with the body, starting at the bell and going all the way up to where the next section joins. And we'll talk about that in the next clip. On the body of the saxophone, you will notice we have all these little white buttons. This is where you put your fingers. So let's find out exactly how we do this. And we start with the left hand. The left hand is always at the top, and the first finger is on the second button down. Miss the next little one, the second finger on the next button, and the third finger on the last button. Your little finger controls all these levers. The right hand, the first finger on the first button, second finger on the second button, third finger on the third button, and your little finger controls two levers just below it. Finally, behind, you have a little curved ring for your thumb to help hold the instrument. And at the top is a round pad for the left hand thumb to sit on. Now let's look at the second part of the saxophone, and this is called the crook. And if you notice, the crook is curved. When it was first designed in the early 1800s by Mr. Adolphe Sax from Belgium, he decided to call it a crook because it looks a little bit like a shepherd's staff. The crook is very easy to handle and place into the top of the body like this. Try not to use any force. And then to keep it in the body, there is a little screw that you tighten up just enough to stop the crook from moving too much. Next, we look at the mouthpiece. This is the mouthpiece, and they are made of either plastic, ebonite, or metal. This is an ebonite mouthpiece, which is made out of hardened rubber and is very durable. Now, if you look at the top of the mouthpiece, it is sloped, often called the ski slope. Underneath is a flat area, and this is for the reed to sit on, and that's what we will talk about next. This is a typical reed and is made out of cane and grown in France, specifically for instruments requiring a reed. Now if you notice on the front it is slightly curved, and there's usually a number on it, and this number starts at 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, and so on, because this number determines the thickness of the reed at the top. The smaller the number, the thinner the reed. So a beginner will start on a 1 or a 1.5. The back of the reed is flat, and it's this part that sits under the mouthpiece. The reed has to be wet before placing it on the mouthpiece, so put the thin part in water for approximately 10 seconds. This makes it flexible to use. Now place the flat part of the reed onto the mouthpiece like this. It has to be wet because it's basically made of wood, and dry wood will not flex. Let's try this again. This time, hold the bottom of the reed with your thumb while making sure that it's level with the top of the mouthpiece. Check the front, side, and back to be sure of the correct position. To secure the reed onto the mouthpiece, you require a ligature. This is a typical a standard type of ligature and is made of metal with 2 tightening screws. Another type of ligature is made of leather and has only 1 screw. Now we have all 3 parts, ligature, mouthpiece and reed. Place the ligature over the mouthpiece, like this, and it should fit nicely around the body. The 2 small screws you tighten up just enough to make sure the reed does not move. Check that the ligature is just below the U-cut of the reed. This ensures the reed will flex correctly. Check also the ligature is not sitting over the sloped area. Now it is ready to put onto the saxophone. Finally, the completed mouthpiece can now go onto the crook. You will always find at the top of the crook is a band of cork. This ensures the mouthpiece fits firmly and is airtight. Now slide the mouthpiece over the cork. If it is very tight, then smear a little cork grease onto the cork. This is supplied with your saxophone. To hold the saxophone in position, you require a sling that fits around your neck and can be adjusted in the middle like this. At the bottom of the sling there is a hook that fits into a ring on the back of the saxophone body. Some slings have a clip, but the method is the same to hold the instrument and make it easier to play. Adjusting the sling lower or higher is very simple and easy. Now let's position the hands correctly. Starting with the left hand at the top, the thumb sits on the metal or plastic pad on the back of the body. Now curl your hand around the instrument so the fingers 1, 2 and 3 sit on the white buttons. If you notice at the top there is a button or lever, and this we do not use yet. The next button down is for your first finger. Miss out the little one in the middle and place the second finger on the next button and the third finger on the last button. Let's try that. 1, 2, 3. Miss out the little finger at the moment. The right hand, the first finger on the first button, second finger on the second button, third finger on the third button, and the little finger controls the 2 levers below them. Again, 1, 2, 3. Now from the top. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. To keep the saxophone steady, the right hand thumb sits under the curved ring on the back of the instrument. The penultimate action is to adjust the sling to get the saxophone correctly positioned for the mouth. Not too low and not too high. Adjust the sling so the mouthpiece is level with the mouth without having to crane your head up or down. The final and most important part is getting the mouth ready. Curl your lower lip just over your bottom teeth. It is the pink area of your lip that is curled over your teeth because the lip sits under the reed. Your top teeth will sit on the slope of the mouthpiece. Now let's try this out. Remember, do not grip too hard. Now, close both sides of your mouth around the mouthpiece and blow. This should give you your first sound. To get a good sound, your mouth should be around the middle of the slope. Too far up gives you a honky sound, and too far back a very thin sound. Good luck.